In one word, what does European film mean to you?
One word?
In one word.
Sharing.
It means quality.
Diversity.
In one word, culture. Contradiction.
It's a million different things, I think.
It's not an American movie.
Diversity.
Quality.
Braveness.
Creativity. Fighting for some ideas that are worth.
I would say not formatted.
Zero boundaries. It's two words.
Integrity. You said one word. You're not going to get any more than that.
We all love stories.
We all love stories.
We all love stories.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back on this very stage at BOZAR for the European Film Forum. We're about to discuss in the next 60 minutes or so the question of access. How does EU work and content circulate? How can you access them, especially at a time where that content needs to be at WAD, as we say in the digital economy, meaning that it needs to be available anytime, anywhere, and on any single device. I'm joined on stage by four truly amazing panelists. They're about to introduce themselves, but we do have Lauri Kivinen with us, CEO of ILE, Jaume Ripoll. Did I pronounce it well? Almost.
Quite well.
Oh, wow. Actually got an amazing achievement, but you are Vice President of EuroVoD, and that's what will matter in the next 60 minutes again when it comes to platforms. Christophe Tardieu, Director General, Centre National du Cinéma. Did I? Okay, yes, I got one more. You're CEO and Creative Director of Cake Entertainment and many other titles, but again, you'll explain that to us in a few seconds. I'm really happy because we do have part.
Je profite de l'occasion que vous me donnez pour souhaiter un très bon anniversaire au programme Média, pour dire que c'est un programme que nous soutenons beaucoup, que nous aimons beaucoup, qui représente pour nous cette Europe que nous aimons, qui soutient des projets, qui soutient la diversité culturelle. Et on sait qu'il y a eu de grands débats autour des ressources du programme Média. Le commissaire Oettinger en a parlé hier. Et nous souhaitons dire à nos amis du programme Média que nous les soutenons le plus fortement possible dans l'objectif d'avoir pour eux le meilleur budget possible, parce que l'argent qui est investi dans Média, c'est un argent qui rapporte beaucoup, d'abord d'un point de vue culturel, mais aussi d'un point de vue économique. Donc Média peut compter sur nous, on essaiera de les aider du mieux qu'on peut.
Eh bien, voilà qui est fait. Speaking of animation, let's turn to you, Tom. What is all about Cake Entertainment?
So, Cake Entertainment is a producer and distributor of mainly animated series for television. Apart from that, I'm also the vice chairman of the newly created Animation in Europe, which represents Producers and Distributors Association in animation from 12 countries. In Europe, we've just started in October. The ambition is to have other associations join as they are created and become aware of us. Lastly, we've just announced last week that we've created Popcorn Digital, which is a company, which is a joint venture company with Diagonal View, where we will actually start promoting and distributing and offering our content online directly. Of course, subject to the rights that we have if they're not licensed to others. Mm-hmm. And so we straddle the full value chain from development through financing, production into distribution. And from a distribution point of view, what's very interesting is that we found that if we looked at our numbers 3 years ago, we would make under 2% of our revenues from digital and new platforms, whereas we're now closing this year, we're probably going to edge over 50%. Wow. So that's been a massive shift. So a lot of the discussions here are still sound like, ooh, this this brave new world, we've already been living in it for quite some time. We're just not always aware of it when we talk, because a lot of the people that we talk to are the same people that we've been speaking to for some time. The world has already changed, offers a lot of new opportunity, and if anything, I think for creators and producers, it's working with the existing platforms, but also having the freedom to bypass the traditional gatekeepers.
Yeah, and it's quite inspiring to see how animation is here reinventing its own business model and exploiting model and circulation model when it comes to, again, animation works. Let's turn to the new kid on the block here and to the disruptors. Jaume, actually, that's quite inspiring too, because yesterday on this very stage, we're talking with Rodolphe Buet from Studio Canal about the fact that we need desperately a European VOD platform, but it seems that we already have one.
Thanks. I would like to say that I feel like the Angela Lansbury of the video on demand, because I've been working on video on demand since the last 10 years, and we've been trying to achieve this European platform since the beginning. I think we are close to achieve it. From EuroVoD, as you have said, and from Filmin. Filmin is a VOD platform that I run. It's available in Spain, in Portugal, and in Mexico. Now we have 10,000 films. 65% of them are European productions or co-productions. 75% feature films, 25% TV series. This year, we'll finish the year with more than 3 million views. So let's say that were screened and good photos of the films. But for a 10 years old European film, then what you could expect is a bad poster with low quality photos and no trailer at all. And with this kind of marketing assets, it's very hard to promote these old European films.
Well, that's very true, and we'll go back to Tom in a few seconds, because you might have actually found a way to make all the platforms, the American platform, agree on your content, but we'll see that in a second. First, Christophe, I'm turning to you. Aujourd'hui, je suis assez curieux de savoir comment est-ce que le CNC adresse un contenu qui lui est proposé au financement quand il est fait pour être diffusé sur une plateforme. Concrètement, est-ce que vous le financez ou pas ?
Oui, bien sûr, ça pose pas de problème. La seule chose que nous disons, c'est que pour nous, le meilleur moyen de promouvoir un film sur une plateforme VOD, c'est de faire en sorte que ce film sorte d'abord en salle. Parce que de notre point de vue, mais c'est peut-être qu'on se trompe et peut-être que d'autres expériences peuvent être différentes, mais de notre point de vue, la meilleure exposition possible pour un film, c'est d'abord de sortir en salle. C'est là où la promotion peut se faire, c'est là où les acteurs sont invités dans les médias, c'est là où des opérations de commercialisation spécifiques sont faites. Donc nous, on pense que c'est d'abord la salle. Après, sortir directement un film sur une plateforme de VOD ne nous pose pas de problème en termes d'aide. On continue naturellement à soutenir les œuvres en question, mais c'est simplement une autre façon de penser que l'on entend privilégier. Après, ce qui est sûr, et c'est là où il faut aussi que nous, on évolue, c'est que quand on voit le nombre de films européens et français produits par an, et ça, on en est très heureux parce que c'est une véritable richesse, c'est une diversité culturelle formidable, on se dit aussi qu'il n'y a peut-être pas de la place pour tous les films en salle.
Oui, parce que c'est quand même, on va donner un chiffre pour être très clair et très concret. 1000, si je dis pas de bêtises, hein, si vous me le dites, 1600 films européens produits par an. Donc film, on parle bien de films de fiction, donc potentiellement films de cinéma. 700 sorties salles. Où sont les autres ? Où est-ce qu'on trouve de la place, du débouché, un endroit pour que ces autres films qui ne sortent pas en salle puissent être visionnés ? Parce que c'est quand même leur but à un moment donné.
Le but, c'est naturellement d'être visionné. Il y a les plateformes de VOD, il y a les chaînes de télévision, qu'elles soient payantes ou qu'elles soient gratuites. Et puis, surtout, il faut faire attention aussi aux chiffres. C'est-à-dire, en effet, on sort un peu plus de 600 films dans les salles françaises par an, mais on est 28 pays. Et il faut que chaque pays puisse exposer sa cinématographie nationale, la cinématographie de ses voisins. Justement, et cette exposition, elle se fera où vous voulez. Le lancement du cinéma, Tout ça à acquérir des abonnés après.
Allez, on va poser d'autres questions justement à nos autres panélistes. Thank you so much for your answer, Christophe. Tom, I'm quite interested in the new business model you've been able to impel on, the platforms we're talking about, Amazon, Netflix, name it. You've been able actually to sell them Angry Birds, because actually you're representing Rovio when it comes to Cake Entertainment, and Angry Birds is going to be available everywhere. How come? How did you actually make it happen when it comes to excluding the exclusivity clause?
So I think what the interesting thing is this distinction between, there's two exercises when you try to finance a production and once you have a finished product that you're trying to distribute, which are two very different exercises. And what we found with those Angry Birds shorts is that they became of course the brand is massive. As not only the game but also the feature last summer has shown, because basically their brands radiates so brightly that everybody wants to stand in the light of that brand, and so you see that people who normally would ask for exclusivity, first of all, you can't really ask for exclusivity if something has already been on offer for free, because that exclusivity no longer exists. So it makes the discussion a lot easier. And then you actually see, and I think this is the most interesting lesson, is that when you have a piece of content like that on, every time we add a platform in a market, you would rationally think that means the same amount of people are spreading their viewing over more platforms, but actually what it does, it increases everybody's viewership. So I cannot explain that, but we've seen that happen not only on Angry Birds, but also on other things, which is actually, it actually challenges us to think differently about how platforms interact and complement each other. When cable and satellite came in, it was always exclusivity, and windowing. So the reality is we do need to find a new way of windowing between existing platforms and new entrants, because we need their financing of both to help new programming, be it cinema or TV-directed programming, to be made. But I think that those platforms, and we're all learning, including the established players and the new ones, how we can actually do that, but embrace the fact that ultimately we're stronger when we find ways to work together. And the audience expects that. I think that's the interesting thing, is we've been saying, this is the other mantra we've been saying for years, yes, it needs to be available when you want it and where you want it. And we've been saying that for a while, but that is how our consumers actually expect to find content. If they like a piece of content, it's already just knowing that you have to go to either HBO or Amazon Prime or Netflix. That already is that's probably the limit of people's flexibility. But they really expected to find a good piece of content wherever they like to go to find content. So I think our challenge is to find, so on the one hand, when financing, is finding ways that we do actually, rather than embrace this for years people saying that the great thing about the internet, that you'll have everything instantly. But I think that sharing a piece of content once we know it's a piece of content that everyone wants to see is very different from saying from day one we share it. Because from day one we share it, we can't actually finance it. So we need to stick to and evolve windowing models. Once we've actually created it and the content finds its audience, we can amplify its success by adding platforms, and everybody can benefit from that.
Lauri and Jaume, let's track to Tom's assertions. Actually, I'm quite amazed, because I thought that at the time of AwArds, again, exclusivity was a new black, and a new way, to add extra value to a content that you want to license for your own single platform.
Why don't you start, because you're a platform guy? I can then tell what I think about it.
Okay. Of course, exclusivity is important, but to have exclusive content, you need to have money to pay them, basically. Our exclusivity is to have this long-tail catalog. So this is somehow it's an exclusivity. It's, of course, we don't have these new releases, the new cool TV series that has been made in Denmark, for sure. But we have 8 films from Michael Haneke, 10 films from Lars von Trier, all the filmography of Pedro Almodóvar. So it's another kind of exclusivity, because it's still important in these times of Netflix, HBO, and Amazon that some other platform that supports and champions European cinema remains. Because otherwise, not those huge names, but the small ones, they couldn't find any way to find an audience. And then the audience never notice about them, and then they will go to HBO, stay on Netflix or on Amazon, watching the same type of content. So to a more diverse Europe, we need this kind of platforms with exclusive content. I'm quite sure, basically, Netflix, HBO, and Amazon don't care about 90% of European cinema. So this European cinema must find other places, other homes. Filming is your home, guys.
I really think we need to change, and we need to think in new ways. Therefore, I liked your examples of how to rethink exclusivity. Think about a shopping mall. A good shopping mall offers you the boutique you expect to be there. So the same thing on a good platform. If you have a good platform, you go there and you find that platform offers you what you want to enjoy. And of course, catalog is one element in your competitiveness, but there are other aspects. There is the price, there is usability, there is the packaging, how you publish things. But I think that one of the key issues in the new world of digital media is publishing, and we need to invest more in planning how we publish things. And in our case, just to give you an example, we are building an entire offering consisting of video on broadcasting channels and online. So to combine those two so that they build what we call a comprehensive Yle TV offering. That means that we do carry series, for example, on a weekly basis, on the Wednesday night at 9 o'clock, for those ones for whom the rhythm is important. But we do put all 10 episodes online at the very time of first broadcast of the first episode. There are things that we only put online. There are things that we only put in broadcasting. And to master this new skill that is required for publishing in the new environment, I think this is something that we broadcasters and we who offer content have to really to invest to understand how consumers are best served.
I totally agree with you. As I said, one of the good things of being the Angela Lansbury of the video on demand is that in 10 years we have made a lot of mistakes. We have tried a lot of things to create content, how to create collections, how to work with the festivals, how to do day and date, how to put these special collections, how to promote them on the website, or how to develop our application for smart TV, for PlayStation, and for the iPad or Android systems. We are living in a perpetual learning process, and this is expensive, of course, but it's thrilling as well. After 10 years, I must say that we have achieved some kind of success. Having been able to promote and to curate content, specific content that hasn't been released theatrically in Spain. I totally agree with you, Christophe. The most important for film is to be released first on cinemas, then on VOD. But sadly, as I said, 70–80% of European cinema never found a home in our country. For that reason, we need to find different ways to promote these films made by unknown directors, with unknown actors, with an ugly poster. And how to do it? So it's we have working on a creation of algorithm and collections and specific applications.
But these problems you can solve. They're practical problems, yes. Ugly posters, that you can solve, right?
Of course.
So
with a designer at home. But let's be honest, the main problem is, and for that reason the equation is still negative, the business model. Subscription video on demand cannot finance films, or maybe finance 100 films per year, and plus TV series, because €8 per month is not the same that €8 one ticket per cinema, per person. And sadly, the world we are living is going more and more and more on subscription. In filming, it's 75% subscription, 25% transactional, more or less. And how should we solve this equation in which subscription is getting more and more and more important?
Well, actually, that's real great questions. Let's ask Christophe. Do you have a clue?
Bah, on n'a pas de solution miracle. Le système français fonctionne un peu différemment. C'est-à-dire que, en fait, le système français prévoit que ce sont les chaînes de télévision qui doivent consacrer une part de leur chiffre d'affaires au financement des films. L'exemple de Canal+, Canal+ doit consacrer 12,5% de son chiffre d'affaires au financement de films.
D'où ma question tout à l'heure.
D'où la question tout à l'heure. Donc on y a. Mais en même temps, Canal+ est ravi de consacrer 12,5% de son chiffre d'affaires aux films parce que grâce à cela, ils ont des contenus qu'ils offrent à leurs abonnés. Donc ce système qui fait que les chaînes de télévision ont des obligations de financement de films. Il y a derrière des mécanismes qu'on a mis en place d'incitation fiscale à travers des SOFICA. On a aussi en France, depuis quelques années, les régions qui interviennent de plus en plus dans le financement des films. Les régions françaises, parce qu'elles considèrent que c'est aussi un formidable outil de promotion de la région, des savoir-faire, des paysages, des personnages, etc.
Mais on imagine aussi que la réforme territoriale des grandes régions françaises a dû aussi changer quelques choses et quelques tailles d'échelle de financement.
Alors justement, et c'est ça qui est très intéressant, c'est que donc en France, quelques régions se sont regroupées. Et par exemple, une région très proche d'ici, qui est la région des Hauts-de-France, qui a regroupé l'ancien Nord-Pas-de-Calais et Picardie, ils ont décidé d'additionner les chiffres de soutien de ces deux régions et de le multiplier par 3. Donc c'est énorme. Et ça veut vraiment dire que la région a compris l'intérêt qu'il y avait à soutenir le cinéma, parce qu'il y a une question naturellement de diversité culturelle, mais il y a aussi derrière une question économique, de débouchés, d'emploi, d'activité. Et grâce à ça, on crée un écosystème très cohérent. Donc, je suis tout à fait d'accord. C'est vrai que les plateformes VOD, c'est très difficile pour elles, aujourd'hui, de contribuer au financement des films. C'est pour ça qu'il faut trouver d'autres solutions, d'autres voies. Et en revanche, faire en sorte que, justement, les films soient les mieux exposés possibles sur ces plateformes. Et que surtout, et j'en terminerai par là, qu'il y ait sur cette plateforme une vraie diversité culturelle et une vraie exposition des œuvres européennes, parce que c'est quand même bien ça qui nous motive le plus.
You'll be able to ask your questions directly to our panelists in a few seconds, but before we do so, just a brief question about the R&D. Actually, I mean, again, accessing this brand new content is all about money and all about the investment you do put, gentlemen, into the research and development part of, again, how in the future we will be technological innovation.
Today, everybody with a
and whether it's a traditional public broadcaster brand, a new VOD platform, or a producer, you try to develop a relationship of trust with an audience and to understand what that audience responds to. And so hopefully over time you can actually in your offering make the difference between which part of the audience is going to be sensitive to which part of your offering. What's fascinating about digital is that it's brutally honest. Because before we actually had Radio ESCAC, is it doing well? Yes, you'd ask a broadcaster, is the show doing well? Oh yes, we're happy. So you didn't really know whether there were 50 people watching it or 50,000. Online is, and VOD, now not every VOD platform shares that information, but it's brutally honest. You actually know whether you're reaching people or not. So I think what we try to do is we're particularly excited as Cake just to find that 30% of the content that we feel is more universal and can travel more. And what we're finding is that the world is opening up to that. It's fascinating to know that we've heard the examples of Scandinavian series like The Bridge, and that have actually traveled across the Atlantic. Like 10 years ago, that was completely not on the table. Anything that was not available in an American voice cast version would not even be considered. Now there's an initiative of creating VOD platforms specifically for the American market that are, as a point of distinction, like you are having a point of distinction of showing the back catalogue of European cinema in history, going back some years, and the best coming out of Europe today, their unique selling point will be, this is content that isn't coming from the rest of the world. So I think the world is recognizing that good stories can come from everywhere. And not every story is destined to travel, but there are many more stories that have that potential and that are not traveling today. So I think our challenge as an industry is to find clever ways to get that message out to the audience. And this may be a strange parallel, but we're thinking about the fact that if you think about Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump, both had Trump says he has money but didn't spend it on his own campaign. Bernie Sanders didn't have the money, and so it's not about, it was their message that was powerful, and embracing new media and communicating directly with their supporters and asking them for help. Those are the modern ways of interacting with our audience. And so it's not, we can get disheartened by, if you know that a single animated movie has a bigger P&A budget than the whole media program, you can either just sit down and cry, or you can basically say, it's okay, we don't need that money. The digital world offers us opportunities that did not exist before. Yeah. So let's be smart about how we, and I'm nearly done, but to just go back to your poster point, we need to create digital posters for all the content. And we need to help, and if one thing the media program can do through Creative Europe is helping producers to promote their content from the day they start producing it, tell the world about it, tell their fans about it, and create those high-end, whether it's clips or pieces or stories about the shoot, and just publicity material, and just do that and share that with the world before it launches to the market. So it's already a story the day it's ready, rather than start thinking about it the day it's produced.
So gentlemen, would you add some Bernie spirit to your strategies? That Bernie Sanders spirit Tom was talking about. I mean, again, it's all on the table. You can basically create your own business model for now. I mean, you just have to, just grab the very financing tool you need to produce great content and monetize from it.
May I tell you a small story about a young director that 5 years ago did a small film, self-produced by his money and his parents' money. It was screened in festivals, but not in the official selection, but in PANELLISTS selection. I think it took 2 awards maximum. No cinema wanted to release that film. And then we put it online in June 2013, I think. The film was trending topic that day, #1 views in Filmin. And thanks to this huge success on the internet, the film was available on DVD. Was released on DVD 2 months ago, and it was a #1 film on FNAC during the week of release. That film was called Diamond Flash. It was the first film of Carlos Bermud. That film was after this was programmed in the Streams Film Festival, which is an online film festival created by EuroVoD. So Carlos Bermud the first film of Carlos Bermud was available in France thanks to this EuroVoD Stream Film Festival. It was Diamond Flash. The next film of Carlos Bermud was Magical Girl, or La Niña de Fuego, how it was called in France. It was a tremendous success. It took the Concha de Oro and Concha de Plata in San Sebastian Film Festival. But the first film, no one wanted to release on cinemas in Spain. It was released direct to VOD. And thanks to the success of the DVD, now we are talking about one of the great new genius of Spanish cinema.
quick reaction with Christophe. And again, if you do have a question, just raise your hand so that we can provide you with a mic.
Peut-être deux remarques par rapport à ce qui vient d'être dit. Nous pensons vraiment qu'il est très important que ces très grandes plateformes de VOD comme Netflix ou d'autres puissent contribuer au financement de la création. C'est quelque chose qui nous paraît extrêmement important parce qu'il faut naturellement qu'on puisse développer les systèmes de soutien qui existent, mais aussi nous pensons que c'est dans leur intérêt. Dans leur intérêt parce que plus ils auront des œuvres bien financées, plus ils auront des œuvres qui auront été travaillées, qui auront fait l'objet d'une longue préparation, et bien finalement, au bout du compte, c'est le consommateur qui est gagnant. Et puis la deuxième chose, c'est que tout ce qui a été dit autour de la VOD et du développement des plateformes de VOD est naturellement fondamental. Et on voit bien que c'est un relais de croissance aujourd'hui totalement indispensable. Mais il ne faut pas oublier la menace qui pèse sur la VOD, qui est le piratage, et qui est un véritable cancer pour les industries culturelles sur lesquelles nous travaillons. Et il faut, et nous appelons vraiment qu'au niveau européen, il y ait une forte initiative qui soit prise sur le piratage, parce que si on continue à voir des plateformes se développer un peu partout dans le monde, offrant des contenus illicites, gratuits, tous les efforts que nous pourrons faire pour essayer d'avoir les meilleures offres possibles dans le domaine de la VOD seront vains. Et c'est pour ça qu'il est pour nous extrêmement important que des initiatives très fortes soient prises dans ce domaine, et c'est là où elles ne peuvent être efficaces qu'au niveau européen.
Concernant justement la lutte contre le piratage, dans l'actualité, il y a justement un site très connu en France qui vient d'être, j'allais dire, put down, mais qui vient d'être arrêté, bloqué depuis 48 heures, je crois, qui s'appelle téléchargement.com, si je ne dis pas de bêtises. Donc, on voit que les actions continuent en la matière. Après, sur le financement des plateformes, il y a le cas aussi dans l'actualité, 24 heures auparavant, Netflix se fait rappeler à l'ordre au Canada, par exemple. So Netflix was actually asked by the government of Canada to try to contribute more to the actual content production. But, I mean, every single time they're going to have the same answer. See, every single time we're launching our service in a territory, in a country, we are actually working with people from the production and the content industry. Look what we did with Marseille in France, for instance, or with Gomorrah in Italy. So they're going to give you proof that they actually are doing things with the industry.
I think, if I can say, there is always a big danger to mix up exceptions and regular practice. And what Netflix are doing very well is they're picking good ideas with top producers in key markets and supporting that, for which they should get credit. But if you compare it to the 12.5% that you were just mentioning for Canal Plus, it's a drop in the ocean, and that doesn't mean that they shouldn't be commended for doing that. But the impact that has on their business is very positive, like you were just saying, and therefore they should be enticed, and whether that is through legislation will probably need to come into play. And we see in the animation field, for instance, that Disney is actually engaged actively as a European player, investing in European content, but the Turner Group is not doing that in the same way. So in that, for instance, if I co-produce a series with France and Disney France is on board, they're recognized as a broadcaster, whereas Turner and Nickelodeon broadcast into France, but they don't have that same status. So again, but legislation leaves them the room not to fully engage in the system. So if we're now, and there's been talk about forcing the digital players to come in and take their responsibility, and if we do that, I think what we should do is just make sure that everybody takes their responsibility, because I agree that it will help, and you can see what motivates these networks to do a little bit of local content is it gives them a lot of goodwill, and it gives them a lot of positive. It's positive for their brand, but also for the performance of their channels. So I think it can be a virtuous circle, and if we're gonna put legislation in place to get digital platforms to go there, I think what we should do is actually just have a uniform legislation that makes no exceptions. So if you're in that business, that's your responsibility.
Thank you so much for this answer. I was just playing the devil's advocate a little while ago. Again, if you do have a question, just raise your hand so that we can, hear about what you have to say or ask to our panelists on stage. Do you have one question or maybe two?
I would have
sure. I
question
mean,
to
just a quick reaction from you.
Colleague from the film promotion body. How do you see monies kind of shifting from cinema towards TV and series? Do you distinct them? Do you see trends there, as we do see? Less films, more TV series, and higher quality of what is produced for TV. How do you deal with this?
Alors, là encore, ce sont les spécificités du système français, mais les chaînes de télévision françaises sont obligées de consacrer une part de leur chiffre d'affaires pour le cinéma et pour l'audiovisuel. Et dans l'audiovisuel, elles doivent consacrer du financement, une part de leur chiffre d'affaires pour financer des documentaires, des fictions, des séries, de l'animation et depuis peu des captations de spectacles vivants. Donc ce sont des obligations légales qui se calculent sur le chiffre d'affaires et en fait, bon, bien sûr, elles protestent un peu, elles râlent un peu parce que c'est jamais très agréable d'être amené à être obligé de consacrer de l'argent à des programmes, mais en même temps, grâce à ce système, elles ont des contenus de bonne qualité, elles ont une ligne éditoriale intéressante et grâce à cela, leur audience se maintient, voire continue à progresser dans un monde qui n'est pas évident aujourd'hui. On voit bien, les jeunes vont de plus en plus sur Internet, les gens regardent un peu moins la télévision qu'avant, et ces chaînes qui vivent essentiellement de la publicité ont besoin d'avoir une audience importante. Et en fait, grâce à ce système, je crois qu'elles ont compris que plus elles auront des œuvres de qualité, plus en fin de compte, elles auront de l'audience, des spectateurs et donc des revenus. Parce que tout ça, au bout du compte, il faut bien que ça produise de l'argent.
Which actually, and if you do not have a question, we'll have a final conclusive question here on stage, which actually brings us to the very beginning of the discussion. Maybe I'll be the devil's advocate another time here on stage. Let's hear about what Reed Hastings has to say about television. Television is not about to exist anymore in 20 years from now. Television might be an app. Television might be a platform. So when you have such a decrease in the number of the audiences when it comes to traditional television, shifting to this whole platform and multi-devices model, how would you monetize? How are you going to, foresee new business model that's going to actually be effective and work? But again, just for the sake of content creation and cultural diversity. That's a crystal ball question.
C'est naturellement une très bonne question. Oui, vous avez tout à fait raison. Il y a ces évolutions sur lesquelles il faut qu'on soit extrêmement vigilant. En même temps, la mort de la télévision, elle est annoncée depuis très longtemps. Et puis la télévision est toujours vivante. Même si, en effet, on peut s'interroger et se demander si on ne va pas avoir une décroissance régulière de ce modèle. C'est là où, justement, nous pensons que ces très grandes plateformes multinationales doivent contribuer, évidemment, au financement de la création, dans le même esprit que pour les chaînes de télévision, c'est-à-dire dans leur propre intérêt. Plus elles auront des contenus intéressants, plus elles arriveront à vendre leur abonnement ou à proposer la vision de certains films. Donc il faut que ce modèle évolue. On sait par exemple que Netflix va bientôt contribuer en Allemagne au financement de la création. Ça sera très prochainement le cas également en France. On réfléchit à ce que d'autres plateformes de VOD gratuite, on peut penser à YouTube ou d'autres, puissent également contribuer au financement de la création. Il faut qu'on fasse évoluer ce modèle. Et ça passe par des dispositions, mais ça passe aussi par de la pédagogie vis-à-vis de ces grandes structures pour leur dire c'est votre intérêt d'avoir des œuvres bien financées qui ont fait l'objet d'un long travail et parce que derrière, vous aurez une véritable satisfaction des spectateurs.
Final reaction with you, gentlemen. Quick words, Lauri, maybe.
I think television is a great platform and will be. It will offer under one brand content which is live. It has content which is so-called catch-up, which was live some time ago, a short while ago, and it will have a library of on-demand content. All this under one platform in your big device, and assume TVs to be connected. So, and consumers don't know how the content will be delivered, but we have to be good at organizing it. Curation, I loved your point on that. If we can't make sense of this massive world of content for the consumers, deliver it, package it onto the platform we have, then we will lose.
Let me be a little bit provocative for the final words with Tom and Jaume. TV's dead, long live content.
You go first.
We live in a digital world, but we are not binary people. So it's not VOD or cinema, TV linear or offline. I think we still read poetry, we still go to the theater, we still go to the watch cinema on cinemas. And 20 years is nothing. Hopefully in the States 4 years will be nothing. So basically I think in 20 years we will still have television, of course in different, total and completely different way than now, but I'm quite sure that broadcasters could breathe quite tranquil.
I think for digital natives, television still exists and is important. It just means something different. We are just fixated because we spend so many hours in front of that strange rectangle in our living rooms. We think that is television, but that just says more about us than what television really is. Television is an offering of content. Since its beginning, you've had free content offered to you, you've got advertising supported content, and we've been living with pay TV content for over 25 years. We're just changing technologies, and with the evolution of technology, we need an evolution of the business model. That's what we're all figuring out together, but TV is very good at many things. And like radio that was pronounced dead when TV came in, still does very well as a business and as a medium because it decided to do, and it ended up doing what it was best at. TV is very good at many things. It will end up doing that well and partner with others on where partnerships will bring out the best result for the consumer. Ultimately, and what I love about this conversation, I want to say is, and this is the moment probably to do it, we all love stories. I think it goes deeper than that. People say there's two things that define humanity. We bury our dead and we tell each other stories. And we want to hear new stories and we want to know stories that other people know. That defines our humanity. So creating content is at the core of what makes us human. And therefore, content has always been king. It was telling stories around a fire pit some centuries ago, and now we're living in a digital world, but the essence is we want to share those stories together and get to know the same stories and define and assert our humanity that way.
That was a brilliant way to conclude this panel. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Thank you, Tom, Christophe, Lauri, and Jaume. They've been on the hot seat for over 60 minutes. I think it deserves some applause. And before I do hand over to the next session, let me remind you that at the end of the brochure you do have on in your tote bags, there's a segment in this section where you can learn everything about the European Film Forum, if I'm not mistaken. And if you do have any feedback to add to those explanations in the brochure, please just, hand it over to one of the European Commission executives. And of course, you can find them everywhere in here at BOZAR until the end of the afternoon. Thank you so much.